Do you still remember those quiet evenings of childhood, when all it took was a gentle lullaby or a soft tune from an old radio, and suddenly every little worry in our young hearts just melted away? No sleeping pills, no alarm clocks, just that sound, calm, steady, and our hearts would slow down. We'd feel lighter, and sleep would come, like an embrace. I still remember lying next to my mother. She would sing in a low, raspy voice, not so I could understand the words, but so I could feel safe enough to close my eyes. Back then, music wasn't just melody, it was a feeling of safety. And yet, as the years passed, our bodies grew, then slowed. Our hearts that once traveled the world returned home only to face something that once felt so simple: sleep. Have you ever felt the same? You spend your whole day tired, doing your best, giving it your all. But when night falls, sleep won't come. You lie there, in the stillness of your room, and quietly ask yourself, why is it so hard to fall asleep now? There's no noise, no lights. And yet inside you, there's still something stirring. A quiet hum, persistent. A worry. A thought that won't stop running. A soft ache you can't quite name. I had a patient once, her name was Diane. She was 70, a retired schoolteacher. The first time she came to see me, she said, "Ethan, I just don't understand. My body is resting, my mind isn't worried about anything anymore. But when night comes, I'm still awake. My heart still races. It's like I'm waiting for something I don't even know." I looked at her, and I understood. Because I've seen it many times before. After 50, sleep is no longer just sleep. It becomes a negotiation between the body and the mind, between shifting hormones, lingering worries, and a nervous system that now feels everything more deeply than before. Melatonin, the hormone that helps us feel sleepy, fades with the years. Stress, though different now, becomes quieter, but deeper. It's not the stress of deadlines or jobs, but of health, of family, of feeling like you're no longer the center of the world. And sometimes we don't stay awake because of insomnia. We stay awake because our hearts haven't found peace. But I want you to remember this. You are not alone. There are millions of others out there, tossing, turning quietly, searching for that feeling of calm again, just like you. And in that journey, I've found something simple, yet powerful. Not a pill, not a device, just music. Music not just to listen to, but to feel, to breathe, to let go. Music doesn't need to be understood. It just needs to seep into you like warm water soaking through the tension in your mind. And the beautiful thing is, for those of us over 50, music isn't just a hobby. It can be a form of therapy, a gentle hand, guiding us back into that natural rhythm of rest, the way we used to sleep when we were small. In today's video, I want to invite you on a very personal journey with me, a journey back to peace, through music. I'm not here to teach you how to fall asleep instantly, but I want to share what I've seen in my clinic, in the lives of others, and in myself, about how music has helped so many find better sleep, deeper calm, and a softer way to live. So sit with me. We won't rush. There's no deadline, no urgent task, just you, a heart learning to breathe deeply again, and music like an old friend waiting for you at the end of the day, with a soft tune just enough to close the door on all the noise. Have you ever felt like this? You go through a long day, working, tidying up, tending to the garden, calling your children, reading, watching the news. By the evening, you feel tired, deeply tired, and you think, tonight I'll sleep well. But then, as soon as you lie down and turn off the lights, your mind wakes up. There's nothing left to do. And yet the thoughts keep running non-stop. I've heard this from hundreds of my patients over the years. But one who stayed with me was Martha, 68 years old. At our first appointment, she sat across from me, gentle face but weary eyes. She said, "Doctor, I'm exhausted all day. But the moment I lie down, my mind starts racing like a machine." I think about old memories, about the future, what I'll eat tomorrow, and then I worry. What if something bad happens? I just can't stop. And I understood. She didn't overthink because she wanted to. She did because her body, like many after age 50, was changing. You see, after midlife, the body no longer operates the way we've grown used to for decades. One of the most noticeable changes is a decline in melatonin, the hormone that signals the body when it's time to sleep. When we were younger, the moment the sun went down, our bodies naturally produced melatonin. Our eyes grew heavy, our energy slowed, and sleep came easily. But after 50, that process weakens. Melatonin is produced in smaller amounts later in the evening, sometimes not enough to open the door to sleep at all. And then there's chronic stress, the kind we don't always notice, but that never truly leaves. You may be retired, no longer juggling meetings or deadlines, but in their place come quieter, more persistent concerns. Your own health, rising expenses and financial changes, worries about your children or grandchildren, or simply the feeling that the world is changing too fast and you're struggling to keep pace. All of that quietly activates the nervous system, putting your body into a state of constant alert, like it's waiting for something to go wrong. And from there, everything connects: hormonal changes, a more sensitive nervous system. Suddenly, even the smallest triggers, light from a screen, a soft noise outside, or your own thoughts can disturb your rest. Have you ever laid in bed and heard your own heartbeat loud and clear? Or remembered something from 30 years ago and had no idea why? That's your body working at the very moment it should be resting. And here's the hard part. The more you try to force sleep, the more awake you feel. Now I share this with you not to make you more anxious, but to let you know you're not alone. You're not broken. You're not weak. You're simply someone who has lived through decades of life, and now your body is speaking in a different language. But right here, I want to gently open a door for you, a softer path, a way to return to peace through something we often forget: music. Music doesn't require words. It doesn't ask you to understand, only to listen. And if you listen long enough, you might notice something strange. Your heart slows down, your breath deepens, your thoughts quiet, and sleep quietly returns. In the next part of this video, I'll share how music affects the nervous system, how it speaks to the parts of your brain that control sleep, and which types of music are best for winding down at night. But for now, if you're sitting alone and your heart feels unsettled, I'd like you to try something very small. Find a soft piano piece. Close your eyes. Do nothing else, just listen. Don't expect anything to happen. Just allow yourself a pause. And who knows, maybe from that small moment, you'll begin a new journey. The journey of sleeping deeply again, not because you're exhausted, but because you finally remember you deserve to rest, fully, peacefully, completely. I'd like you to sit down and imagine this. It's a quiet autumn afternoon. You're sitting by the window, a warm cup of tea in your hands. And in that stillness, a gentle melody begins to play. No lyrics, just the soft notes of a piano drifting like a slow-moving stream. And suddenly, for no obvious reason, you find yourself breathing deeper. Your heart no longer races, your shoulders drop, the tension eases. Have you ever felt something like that? I believe you have. Because music, when we truly let it in, can reach places words cannot. It touches the deepest part of us. The part we sometimes forget still needs to be comforted. Now, as a doctor, I could tell you all about the science behind how music affects the human body. When you listen to a calming sound, like ocean waves' soft piano, or a distant flute, your heart rate begins to slow down. Your blood pressure lowers naturally. Your body shifts from the fight or flight state to the rest and digest mode of the parasympathetic nervous system. Even your brainwaves begin to change. From the fast-paced beta waves of a busy thinking mind to slower alpha and theta waves, the ones linked to creativity, meditation, and deep sleep. To put it simply, music doesn't just soothe the ears, it calms the mind. And when the mind is calm, sleep finally has a chance to return. I remember one of my patients, Arthur, age 71. He was a retired structural engineer. Very logical, very precise, and as he told me, never believed in emotional stuff. But after retiring, he began struggling with sleep. Every night, he'd lie there wide awake. Not overthinking, he said, just unable to sleep. He tried everything, counting sheep, drinking warm milk, putting away his phone. Nothing worked. During one appointment, I asked, "Do you enjoy music, Arthur?" He chuckled and said, "I used to, but now I just don't have the time." I offered a simple suggestion. Each night, about 30 minutes before bed, play a piece of instrumental music, piano, or nature sounds. Do nothing else. No emails, no TV, just listen and breathe. He wasn't convinced, but to humor me, he tried it. 3 weeks later, he returned with a rare smile on his face. He said, "I'm still not sleeping straight through the night." But something strange happened. My mind stopped racing. I felt calmer, and for the first time in a long while, I actually felt sleepy, truly sleepy by the end of the music. You see, music doesn't force anything. It doesn't manipulate like a pill. It simply reminds you you're allowed to rest. You're allowed to let go, to do nothing, to simply listen to yourself through the soft, simple rhythm of a melody. From a biological standpoint, music also lowers cortisol, the stress hormone. When cortisol drops, your breathing slows, your body exits that constant state of alertness. And here's the beautiful part. Our brains contain pathways that associate sound with safety. A lullaby, a bubbling stream, birds chirping at dawn. These sounds can trigger an ancient primal sense of comfort. And you know sleep only comes easily when we feel safe. So if you're in your 50s, 60s, or 70s, and each night feels like a battle with your own body, I invite you to try something different. No pushing, no forcing. Just allow music to gently step into your space. Maybe it's soft piano. Maybe it's traditional Japanese meditation music. Or maybe it's the sound of rain falling in a forest. Choose whatever makes you breathe more deeply. Because once that happens, your body will know what to do. Sometimes, sleep doesn't come when we chase it. It comes when we're quiet enough to hear it knock. I want you to imagine this. A quiet room. A soft amber nightlight glowing like the last breath of sunset. Beside you, a warm cup of chamomile tea. And somewhere in the stillness, a gentle piece of music begins to play. It might sound like the wind brushing across a field or like someone strumming a guitar in a garden of memories. No lyrics, no noise. Just a simple melody that seems to whisper everything's going to be okay. Have you ever had an evening like that? I once had a patient, Charles, age 71, a retired mechanical engineer. A quiet, disciplined man, but he struggled deeply with sleep for nearly 2 years after retiring. He told me, "Doc, I don't do anything all day, and yet the moment I lie down, my brain feels like I'm standing in a factory, lights on machines whirring nonstop." I didn't prescribe sleeping pills. Instead, I asked him, "Have you ever listened to music before bed?" He shook his head and chuckled. "Doc, there's nothing worth listening to these days. It's all noise." But I suggested something different, a small ritual before bedtime. About 30 to 60 minutes before sleep, he would turn off the TV, put away his phone, and play a soft piece of music, slow piano ocean waves or gentle 432 Hz frequency tones. You know, if chosen well and used with intention, music doesn't just soothe the ears, it soothes the heart, even the anxious corners of the brain. Studies show that listening to relaxing music with a slow tempo and gentle volume helps the body wind down. Heart rate slows, blood pressure drops, brain waves shift from beta, the alert state, into alpha or theta states of deep relaxation. Cortisol, the stress hormone, decreases, and in its place, a sense of safety returns. Sometimes the right piece of music is all it takes to quietly tell your brain, "You don't have to worry anymore. The day is done. You can rest now." I often advise patients not to wear headphones overnight, especially after age 60. Ears become more sensitive, and wearing headphones all night can cause discomfort, even hearing issues. If you must use them, choose sleep-specific headphones, soft wireless with auto-off features. But ideally, let the music fill the room, gently playing at the lowest volume, like a whisper from far away. Like a lullaby from your mother long ago, so quiet, it's almost silence, with a melody. And as for your sleep environment, I believe music finds its full power when placed in the right setting. Use a soft amber nightlight, not too bright, not pitch black. Turn off the TV. Avoid screens because the blue light tells your brain, stay awake. You might pair your music with a warm cup of chamomile tea, or a few drops of lavender essential oil in a diffuser to create a full sensory experience, gentle sound, soft light, subtle scent. There's something I often tell my patients. Don't treat sleep like a task to complete. Treat it as a ritual, a way to close the old day and prepare for a new one. And in that ritual, music is the silent prayer. As for Charles, 3 weeks later, he returned with a different light in his eyes. He said, "I'm not sleeping like I did when I was young, Doc. But now every night I have a peaceful moment before sleep. My heart feels lighter, and sleep comes more naturally. I no longer have to force it." I share this with you not because music is magic, but because in a world that feels louder and faster every day, these small moments of intentional quiet have become priceless. And if each evening you can give yourself just 30 minutes to create a bedtime ritual with music, then I believe that sleep will stop being a battle. It will become a return to a place where you're allowed to rest, to heal, and to feel whole. Tonight, before you go to bed, don't reach for your phone. Turn off the lights, play a gentle piece of music, just one, and let it wrap around you like a lullaby made of melody. Sleep well, and may you wake up tomorrow with a spirit just a little lighter. I'm Dr. Ethan Greenwell. Thank you for spending this time with me. I want you to imagine this. You're lying in bed after a long day. A soft golden light glows from your bedside lamp like the last sunlight slipping through the window. No phone ringing, no TV noise. And in that quiet space, a piece of music begins to play, slow, steady, gentle, like a breeze passing through a summer field. The sound of trickling water, a piano note falling as softly as dew, or simply a lingering tone like your heart whispering something you've long forgotten to hear. Have you ever felt that way? I remember a patient of mine, Elaine, 66. A sharp-minded woman, once a university lecturer. She read a lot, thought a lot, and of course worried a lot. She came to me struggling with chronic insomnia. She'd tried everything from herbal teas to breathing exercises, but sleep continued to slip away from her night after night. One day, while we were talking about her bedtime habits, she said quietly, "I haven't listened to music in years, not since my husband passed away." I asked her, if you could choose one piece of music to play again, what would it be? She hesitated, then softly replied, "There's this piano piece, Clair de Lune. He used to play it every night." I didn't offer more advice. I simply said, "Tonight, if you feel like it, let that music play gently in the room. Don't do anything else, just listen." A few weeks later, she came back. Her eyes still showed signs of restless nights, but there was a new kind of light behind them. She told me, "I still don't sleep through the night, but I've started a new habit listening to that old piano piece again. And at the very least, my heart feels a little calmer." You see, music, when chosen with care, doesn't just help you relax. It reawakens something softer inside you, a memory, a tenderness, a feeling you thought was long asleep. If you're looking for a place to start, here are the kinds of music I often recommend to patients, people like you who are on a journey to reclaim rest after the age of 50. First, natural soundscapes, rain falling, waves gently breaking on the shore, a quiet stream. I call these the breath of the earth. They carry no melody, no lyrics, yet somehow they awaken an ancient part of us, The part that remembers we were once part of nature, not apart from it. These sounds create a sense of safety, as if you were being held in the arms of the natural world. Second, slow piano music. Just one simple piece like River Flows in You or Chopin's Nocturne. It's as if the pianist's fingers are touching the very nerves in your soul. Each note that falls lets a thought dissolve. And if you listen closely, you might notice your breath slowing, softening. Third, meditative music, especially traditional Japanese melodies. Instruments like the koto or shakuhachi, they transport you into a silent garden of stillness. I often suggest this style for people with sensitive nervous systems. No drama, no sudden shifts, just layers of sound flowing gently, slow, and deep. Fourth, light classical music. If you've ever listened to Gymnopédie No. 1 by Eric Satie or Clair de Lune by Debussy, you'll know what I mean. This isn't music to analyze. It's music to feel. You don't need to understand it. You only need to be present with it. Let it wash over you like a stream cleansing your thoughts. And finally, 432 hates music. There's some debate around it, but in my experience, many patients have told me they feel strangely soothed by music tuned to this frequency. Some say it aligns with the natural frequency of the universe, helping the body and mind return to balance. Now, I'm not claiming a single song can heal everything, but sometimes what we need most isn't a big change, but a small moment at just the right time. 1 minute to breathe, one melody to soften the heart. And my advice is simple: try to find the melody that makes your body smile, because that is your lullaby. No one else can choose it for you. Only you know what your heart needs to feel safe again. So tonight, if you feel empty or if your mind won't stop spinning, try playing a piece of music. Find a quiet corner. Turn off the main lights. Let the music wrap around you. And if you find yourself smiling just a little as the melody plays, then you'll know you've begun the journey home. Home to yourself. I'm Dr. Ethan Greenwell, and I truly hope that tonight you'll have a sleep that's not just deep but gentle. I want to leave you with this not as a grand conclusion, but more like a soft whisper before you close out your day. You don't need anything complicated to sleep well. You don't need to fully understand how melatonin works. You don't need expensive gadgets or a shelf full of pills with names you can't pronounce. Sometimes, all you need is 10 minutes, a quiet piece of music, and a little gentleness offered to yourself. You know, we often believe that healing must be big, must be powerful. But in my years of being a doctor for those over 50, I've learned something that surprises many. The most powerful things are often the softest. A deep breath, a calming melody, a moment where you sit down, set aside your phone, turn off the news, and simply listen to yourself. I've seen patients struggle with sleep for over a decade, not because they lacked medication, but because they had forgotten how to treat themselves with kindness. Music, in a way, reminds us of that. It's not in a hurry. It doesn't push or demand. It simply flows softly and steadily like an old friend sitting beside you at night saying nothing, yet making you feel safe. If this video has brought you even a small sense of peace, even just a softer sigh, a quiet moment amid the weariness of your day, then I invite you to do something small. Share this video with someone you love. Maybe your partner, a sibling, a lifelong friend who still struggles to find rest at night. Who knows, a gentle melody or a tender word might just be the gift they've been needing. And if you'd like to continue this quiet journey of healing with me, click that follow button. I'll be back with more reflections not just on health, but on the peace that can bloom after 50. I'm Dr. Ethan Greenwell, and I truly believe that every one of us deserves a good night's sleep. Not because we're tired, but because we've lived deeply enough to know that rest is also a form of love. Wishing you a peaceful night and a heart that feels just a little softer.